will often combine materials. That means they won't just use paint or won't just use colored pencils, but combine things to get different effects. We're going to finish our picture with watercolors and markers. Watercolors and markers go really well together. With watercolors, you can cover a lot of area quickly. You do this by putting down a wash. A wash is a really light layer of paint. With watercolors, it's always best to start light and work your way darker. So your first layer should be mostly water, but just a little bit of paint. Right now, I'm only using one color. I plan on sticking with just cool colors, so I want to see how much I can build up with just this one shade of blue. But first, a very light blue wash. Once I have that first layer on, I have to wait for it to dry. Watercolors take a lot of patience because you often have to just wait. If you paint on a dry surface, you can build up color and the edges will stay nice and sharp. So I waited for my first layer to dry, and now I'm going in to add my second layer. This time I'm painting only some areas. I'm leaving others the original blue, and you can already see a difference in the blue shades. But I'm also going to take this opportunity to add a little depth to the sky. For this, I'm using both the original blue as well as some green. I'm combining the colors together on a wet surface. So instead of having crisp edges, the colors bleed together. This is a different effect, so you get it by painting on a wet surface rather than a dry surface. And again, I wait for everything to dry. So now I'm adding a third layer with that same blue. You can see how I have 3 different shades of blue since I let each layer dry before I added the next one. Now I can go back in and add some of that green to different parts of the building just to make things a little bit more interesting to look at. So with watercolor, you want to work very slowly and build up the layers, allowing each layer to dry before you work back into it, and that will give you the most control over it. When you have built up the colors as much as you would like, you can go back in and begin editing the details with markers. You want to make things pop out by adding markers. The marker is going to be the cleanest, boldest color on your paper. So if you color a large area, it's where your viewer's eye will go to first. I'm choosing to not only make my details, like the windows, out of marker, but also to color my stuffed animals with marker to draw more attention to them than to the rest of the image.